Which way do you like most?
We have to wait till she cuts it off, then we can just go back. I have time to put Carmax on if that's the case. Are they about to start?
Get ready. You have to smile at each other, don't forget.
No, I was doing it, you weren't.
Good evening, and welcome to the 2018 Drama Showcase, live from the campus of Southland College Prep in Richmond Park, Illinois. I'm Janelle Alexander.
And I'm Jaden Posley. Thanks for joining us on SCP TV. For 150 Southland drama students, tonight is the accumulation of 3 weeks of hard work and practice.
And our audience, gathered in the Commons, is ready to be entertained by some of the most talented actors and actresses in our school.
They're led by Southland drama teacher and head speech coach, Miss Lawrence Wells.
Earlier this week, SCP TV sat down with Miss Wells and a few of her students to learn more about the great annual event.
Before providing a night of entertainment and thoughtful performances for an eager audience, the work begins weeks and even months earlier. Let's meet just a few of tonight's talented performers, along with their teacher and mentor, to hear about their backgrounds, their motivations, and their passions. Reginea Foster's desire to become more expressive and confident landed her in the theater class.
I never liked public speaking, and I was always nervous to do stuff in front of a large group of people. So this made me come out to be more expressive and open up more.
Autumn Johnson's father helped introduce her to the world of public speaking and acting before she stepped through the doors of Southland.
When I was younger, my dad signed me up for a lot of monologues and trying out auditions, but I kind of fell off afterwards. So Southland was kind of my way to get back into drama.
For this night, Emeka Ejire has traded a basketball for a microphone.
I'll respond to it the same way as basketball because to me, an audience is an audience. So, and I'll try the best to my ability to entertain them the way I do on the court.
Tayshiel Adetunji caught the acting bug from her mother years ago.
My mother used to do this. She was like, she used to write plays and stuff like this. I've always wanted to be an actor and wanted to do speech and get in front of people. So I like doing stuff like that.
In her 4th year at Southland, you can find instructor Lauren Wells guiding the award-winning speech team during the winter, then practicing what she preaches as a professional actress and director during the summer. Who better to lead her young charges through the essentials of entertainment and effective communication in the classroom?
The class is really great for students to grow. We start with an introductory year, so they take a semester of speech, and then they take a semester of drama. And if they stay on, then they take a full year after that of advanced theater. I think the Christmas concert was a big opportunity to see kids that had been in the class for 2 years at least, or a year and a half, and kind of what that training does, and being able to train them to be on a huge stage, which is difficult when we're rehearsing in the hallway and then they have to be on that big stage. So I think that that was definitely a turning point, a triumph for those students to show their growth.
Trinity Harris's interest in trial law led her to Mrs. Wells' door.
I believe when I was 10, I started thinking about public speaking only because I want to be a criminal law attorney. So public speaking is really a big thing with that because you can't be nervous and you can't kind of wig out once you get into in front of a crowd.
It's about seeing kids, no matter where they start, improving. Of course, in speech, they have something tangible, they have a medal. For students in the class, though, they get a round of applause. They get the support of their peers in class when they turn a corner. It makes me think of, there was a moment where Derek Eason, who's a freshman, who had a lot of stage fright and very afraid, but he did his monologue this year, and he He just killed it, and the kids just went wild. And you just can't, they were so supportive and clapping, and they were just so excited to see him do well.
Thursday night, I'll be doing a monologue from the piano lesson that I performed last year as a freshman. This piece really appeals to me because it's really like a dark piece. It's a very moving and emotional piece. With me, I'm all smiles and happy, so this piece really makes me really dig deep down inside of me and kind of get another look on how acting plays into all of these emotions and helps you evoke these different emotions that you don't really have in yourself.
I'm gonna play this dude that gets arrested for nothing, and the play has to deal with police brutality, so I'm gonna play the dude that is the victim getting brutalized by the police.
I'm a coach for Anthony Battles, so when you see him on the stage, I kind of helped him do what he's doing. He's performing a monologue.
You're going to see a lot of different things. There's going to be some comedy, some drama, some things that are going to make you think. Our theme is Be the Change You Wish to See in the World, and so everything that we are presenting falls underneath that. We have a couple public service announcements that students have written, but we have things written by students, we have things written by great playwrights like August Wilson, and so hopefully you will enjoy, you will laugh, you will think, you may even cry, and it's going to be a great show.
Now that you're familiar with a few of the faces and personalities behind Southland's introductory and advanced theater courses, sit back and enjoy tonight's presentation. Reporting for Southland College Prep TV, I'm Heaven Dildy. Before providing a night of entertainment and thoughtful performances for an eager audience, the work begins weeks and even months earlier. Let's meet just a few of tonight's talented performers, along with their teacher and mentor, to hear about their backgrounds, their motivations, and their passions. Reginea Foster's desire to become more expressive and confident landed her in the theater class.
I never liked public speaking, and I was always nervous to do stuff in front of a large group of people. So this made me come out to be more expressive and open up more.
Autumn Johnson's father helped introduce her to the world of public speaking and acting before she stepped through the doors of Southland.
When I was younger, my dad signed me up for a lot of monologues and trying out auditions, but I kind of fell off afterwards. So Southland was kind of my way to get back into drama.
For this night, Emeka Ejire has traded a basketball for a microphone.
I'll respond to it the same way as basketball because to me, an audience is an audience. So, and I'll try the best to my ability to entertain them the way I do on the court.
Tayshel Adetunji caught the acting bug from her mother years ago.
My mother used to do this. She was like, she used to write plays and stuff like this. I've always wanted to be an actor and wanted to do speech and get in front of people. So I like doing stuff like that.
In her 4th year at Southland, you can find instructor Lauren Wells guiding the award-winning speech team during the winter, then practicing what she preaches as a professional actress and director during the summer. Who better to lead her young charges through the essentials of entertainment and effective communication in the classroom?
The class is really great for students to grow. We start with an introductory year, so they take a semester of speech, and then they take a semester of drama. And if they stay on, then they take a full year after that of advanced theater. I think the Christmas concert was a big opportunity to see kids that had been in the class for 2 years at least, or a year and a half, and kind of what that training does, and being able to train them to be on a huge stage, which is difficult when we're rehearsing in the hallway and then they have to be on that big stage. So I think that that was definitely a turning point, a triumph for those students to show their growth.
Trinity Harris's interest in trial law led her to Mrs. Wells' door.
I believe when I was 10, I started thinking about public speaking only because I want to be a criminal law attorney. So public speaking is really a big thing with that because you can't be nervous and you can't kind of wig out once you get into in front of a crowd.
It's about seeing kids, no matter where they start, improving. Of course, in speech, they have something tangible, they have a medal. For students in the class, though, they get a round of applause. They get the support of their peers in class when they turn a corner. It makes me think of, there was a moment where Derek Eason, who's a freshman, who had a lot of stage fright and very afraid, but he did his monologue this year and he just killed it, and the kids just went wild. And you just can't, they were so supportive and clapping, and they were just so excited to see him do well.
Thursday night, I'll be doing a monologue from the piano lesson that I performed last year as a freshman. This piece really appeals to me because it's really like a dark piece. It's a very moving and emotional piece. With me, I'm all smiles and happy, so this piece really makes me really dig deep down inside of me and kind of get another look on how acting plays into all of these emotions and helps you evoke these different emotions that you don't really have in yourself.
I'm gonna play this dude that gets arrested for nothing, and the play has to deal with police brutality, so I'm gonna play the dude that is the victim getting brutalized by the police.
I'm a coach for Anthony Battles, so when you see him on the stage, I kind of helped him do what he's doing. He's performing a monologue.
You're going to see a lot of different things. There's going to be some comedy, some drama, some things that are going to make you think. Our theme is Be the Change You Wish to See in the World, and so everything that we are presenting falls underneath that. We have a couple public service announcements that students have written, but we have things written by students, we have things written by great playwrights like August Wilson, and so hopefully you will enjoy, you will laugh, you will think, you may even cry, and it's going to be a great show.
Now that you're familiar with a few of the faces and personalities behind Southland's introductory and advanced theater courses, sit back and enjoy tonight's presentation. Reporting for Southland College Prep TV, I'm Heaven Dildy.
Students. Our illustrious CEO, Dr. Blondine Davis. Without these individuals, this program would not be possible. Tonight, our theme for our show is a very famous Gandhi quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." This is a theme that the students came up with as we tossed around ideas in class. This year, our students have been dedicated to seeing change in the world as they prepare to be world leaders themselves. But I'm going to let our sixth period intro to theater class show you what this quote really means as they present How to Change the World.
Angelo McDowell, Isaiah Morton, Brian Hayes, Cottrell Jones, Javis McCall, Kendall Porter, Jaden Wilborn Johnson, and Michael Wilson. Of Janelle, we have performing Angelo McDowell, Isaiah Morton, Brian Hayes, Cottrell Jones, Javis McCall, Michael Porter, Jaden Wilson Johnson, and Michael Wilson.
How to change the world. The 9th week of SEAL training is referred to as Hell Week. It is 6 days of no sleep, constant physical and mental harassment, and one special day at the mud flats.
Listen up, maggots. Today is the day you go into the mud flats. Straight up, maggots.
Now, the mud flats, that's an area between San Diego and Tijuana where the water runs off and creates the Tijuana Sloughs, a swampy patch of terrain where the mud will engulf you. It was on a Wednesday of Hell Week that we traveled down to the mud flats, and we spent the next 15 hours trying to survive the freezing cold mud.
Keep on going.
The howling wind and the incessant pressure from the instructors to quit.
You wanna quit? No. You wanna quit? Don't let me quit.
The mud consumed each man till there was nothing visible but our heads. The instructors told us we could leave the mud if only 5 men would quit.
Only 5 men.
And we can get out the oppressive cold.
I'm not gonna quit. Me neither, man. I ain't going out like no punk. Yo, this is for my mom. You gotta stay strong, man. We got this. Come on, we can do this. I'm not gonna quit. Me neither, man. I ain't going out like no punk. I gotta do this for my mom. You gotta stay strong, man. We got this. Come on, we can do this. I'm not gonna quit. Neither, man. I ain't going out like no punk. You gotta do this for my mom. We gotta stay strong, man.
Looking around the mud flat, it was apparent that some of us were about to give up. It was still over 8 hours until the sun came up. 8 more hours of bone-chilling cold The chattering teeth and shivering moans of the trainees were so loud, it was hard to hear anything. And then, one voice began to echo through the night. One voice raised in song. The song was terribly out of tune, but sung with great enthusiasm.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
One voice became two.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
And two became three.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
And before long, everyone in the class was singing.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
We knew that if one man could rise above the misery, then others could as well. The instructors threatened us with more time in the mud if we kept up the singing. But the singing persisted.
And somehow, the mud seemed a little warmer. The wind seemed a little tamer. And the dawn not so far away.
If I've learned anything in my time traveling the world, it is the power of hope. The power of one person. Washington, Lincoln, King, Mandela, and even a young girl from Pakistan named Malala can change the world by giving people hope. That simple song in the mud gave us hope when we saw none on the horizon.
So if you want to change the world, start singing. When you're up to your neck in mud.
Now that was actually an anonymous story that we found online, picked by the cast, and devised together as a group. It was a lot of fun putting it together, as you can imagine. That's one of the many things that students learn in drama, the art of storytelling. When students choose speech and drama as their fine art, they begin an intro to speech for a semester. It is here that they learn how to research and write a speech and even how to interview for a job. I know our parents are pretty grateful for that one. The second semester of their intro year is drama, and one of the first skills that students learn is how to perform a monologue. A monologue is a speech performed by one actor. We continue this work into their advanced class in their second year and beyond. We cultivate monologues in mock professional audition settings in their advanced class. This year, we had 11 standout students from both intro and advanced classes with amazing monologues. The students they ain't did nothing yet. Wait till you see them. The students chose monologues from influential playwrights from all around the world. You are going to hear from the likes of August Wilson to William Shakespeare and some other people in between. Please put your hands together for our top 11 monologues.
For our first monologue, we will have Junior Grant Wade.
Hey everybody, my name is Grant Wade, and I'll be performing a monologue from Like Dreaming Backwards by Kelly Powell. I sold her a ticket that night. I only recognized her because we played Foursquare together once. She introduced herself, and I don't really remember anything that we said, but, you know, she seemed sweet. I didn't even know her last name until I saw that article in the paper. It said she was a sophomore, a journalism major from Joliet. She had a younger sister named Carolyn that was still in high school. I don't know why I remember everything about that article. Her picture was in black and white, and right below was an IDE and suicide. I don't know why I'm telling you this. The picture, it wasn't like a school picture, it was more like a candid shot. I mean, she was sort of smiling, but somehow she looked suspicious. I have this strangely vivid memory of her face. And that night, she seemed fine, and friendly and smiling. and I couldn't have done anything different. I couldn't have known how she was feeling. But then I didn't ask, did I? I just never knew anyone who died. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Trinity Harris, and I'll be performing a monologue as Bernice from the August Wilson play, The Piano Lesson. You ain't taking this piano out of my house. Look at this piano. Look at it. Mama Ola polished this piano with her tears for 17 years. For 17 years, she rubbed on it until her hands bled. Then she mixed it up with the rest of the blood on it. Every day that God breathed life into her body, she rubbed and cleaned and polished and prayed over it. Play something for me, Bernice. Play something for me, Bernice. Every day, I cleaned it up for you. Play something for me, Bernice. You always talk about your daddy, but you never stop to think what his foolishness cost your mama. 17 years worth of cold nights and an empty bed, and for what? For a piano? For a piece of wood to get back at somebody. You know, I look at you and you're all the same. You, Papa Boy Charles, Whiny Boy, Doker, Crowley, you're all alike. All this thieving and killing and thieving and killing. You know, and I ain't never seen it come to nothing. But what, more thieving and more killing? People getting burned up. People getting shot. People falling down their wells. It don't never stop. Thank you.
We will have a special performance from Junior Christian Davis.
Hi, my name is Christian Davis, and I'll be playing in the standalone monologue, The Freakmeister, and I'll be playing as Freakmeister by Rick Everill. I am the Freakmeister. I hunt the halls. I'm an individual that cannot be defined. I wrote this monologue. In fact, I'm writing my entire life hoping that no one will ever be able to figure me out. I will be unique. I will be completely different. The one thing in which nothing can be stereotyped. This is a challenge. There are many uniforms of uniqueness. I leaned toward black garments until it became too goth. Polyester, retro 70s, hippie 60s, even a brief return to the 50s. And the terrible thing is this. No matter how much I change my look, waves of people gravitate towards me. And they all look like me. So each look only lasts about 5 days until I realize myself to be one of the many conformists to nonconformity. Maybe I'll become invisible. If I can't be seen, then I'll hunt the halls. No one would know who I am, where I am, or what to expect of me. I will be unique, unseen, alone, because I want to be appreciated, noticed, and loved. I am the Freakmeister, and I hunt the halls. Thank you.
Performing, we have sophomore Hannah Roberts.
Hi, my name is Hannah Roberts. I will be playing as Black Mary in the play A Gemini Ocean by August Wilson. Here, you cook it. You turn it down. I can't do everything the way you want me to. I'm not you. You act like there ain't no other way to do nothing. I got my own way of doing things. I like the fire high. That's the way I cook. You like it down. That's the way you cook. If you ain't cooking, you ain't got nothing to say about it. All you got to worry about is the eating. It's been 3 years now, and I can't do nothing to satisfy you. I may as well lay down somewhere and forget about it. You got something to say about everything. Turn the fire down. Wash the greens in the other pot. Shake that flour off that chicken. Tuck in the corners of the sheets. That's too much starch. That ain't enough salt. I'm tired of it. Your way ain't the best way. I got my own way of doing things, and that's the way I'm doing it. If I stay around here, I'm doing it my own way. Thank you.
Next up, we have a performance by Junior Candace Hopkins.
Hello, my name is Candace Hopkins, and I will be performing Gem of the Ocean by August Wilson. You think you supposed to know everything. Life is a mystery. Don't you know life is a mystery? I see you still trying to figure it out. It ain't all for you to know. It's all an adventure. That's all life is. But you got to trust that adventure. I'm on an adventure. I've been on one since I was 9 years old. That's how old I was when Mama sent me to live with Miss Tyler. Miss Tyler gave me her name, Esther Tyler. I got a strong memory. I got a long memory. People say you crazy to remember. But I ain't afraid to remember. I like to remember out loud. I keep my memories alive. I feed them. I got to feed them. Otherwise, they eat me up. I got memories go way back. I'm carrying them for a lot of folk, all the old-timey folk. I'm carrying their memory, and I'm carrying my own. If you don't want it, I got to give it to somebody else. I told myself, I'm getting old now, going on 300 years. That's what Miss Tyler told me, 285 of myself. Black Mary better make up her mind. I don't know how much time I got left. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kerry Gidron, and I'll be performing Gem of the Ocean by August Wilson. I'll be playing as Eli. They had a man named Garrett Brown who jumped into the river. Caesar chased him, he jumped into the river and wouldn't come out. They say he stole a bucket of nails, said he didn't do it. They're having his funeral today. They're going to bury him this afternoon out of Reverend Tolliver's church. They were supposed to bury him yesterday out of Reverend Flowers' church, but Caesar stopped them. Went up to Reverend Flowers and said it's against the law, the Christian law. Man ain't set foot in church in over 30-some years talking about the Christian law. Caesar just mad at him. Mad he ain't get a chance at him. Caesar said he wasn't going to kill him, wasn't going to arrest him. He'll just give him a bowl of soup and some dry clothes. He told him to go to Hades. Told his whole family to go to Hades. It's something about you, black man. He just treading water, holding on to the barge. Caesar seen he wasn't going to come out and try to beat him over the head with a 2x4. I believe, had he came out, he'll kill him right on the spot. Well, as it is, he's dead. Thank you.
Next, we'll have a performance by Junior Brio Robinson.
Hello, my name is Brio Robinson, and tonight I will be performing Midnight Summer's Dream by William Shakespeare. How happy some or other can be. Through Athens, I am thought as fair as she. But what if that Demetrius thinks not so? He will not know all but what he do know. And as he is dotting on Hermia's eyes, so I, admiring all of his qualities, things base and bow, holding no quantity, love can transpose to form and dignity. Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore winged Cupid painted blind. Nor hath love any judgment taste. Wings and no eyes form unheedy haste, and therefore love is said to be a child, because in choice he is so oft beguiled. As waggish boys engame themselves for swear, so the boy love is perjured everywhere. For ere Demetrius looked on Hermia's eye, and he held down oaths that he was only mine. And when this wholesome heat for Hermia felt, so he dissolved and all oaths did know. Sing.
Now we will have a performance by Senior Anthony Battles.
Hello, my name is Anthony Battles, and I will be performing a monologue by Joseph Arnold called Caged Monkeys. Excuse me, sir. Can we speak for a moment? Privately, if you don't mind. Thanks. Come on. I'm not trying to cause trouble or anything like that, but I want to let you know that I heard what you said, you and your friends. I heard you call me and my group caged monkeys. Now look, I'm not trying to get hostile or anything like that. I'm just trying to talk to you, man to man, person to person, and ask you, why? Why would you say something like that? Oh, I see. Because we're laughing and having a good time? For you, it's too obnoxious, eh? Okay, I see. But I'm not mad. I'm just trying to tell you, why are you so mad at me? If we were too loud for you, I'm sorry. But to go and call us caged monkeys? Wasn't right, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm pointing out the facts. I'm pointing out the truth. Are we clear? Thank you. You have a good evening.
Up next is Junior Brianna Anderson.
Good evening. My name is Brianna Anderson. I'll be playing Molly Cunningham from the play Joe Turner, Come and Gone by August Wilson. I don't trust none of these men, Jack or nobody else. These men are liable to do anything. They wait just until they get one woman tied and locked up with them. Then they wait to see if they get another one. Molly don't pay them no man. I ain't never met no man that meant nobody no good. These men make all the babies. Then they run off and leave you to take care of them. Talking about they want to see what's on the other side of the hill. I'll make sure I don't get no babies. My mama taught me how to do that. Molly Cunningham ain't gonna be tied down with no babies. I had me a man one time who I thought had some love in him. Come home one day, he was packing his trunk, talking about the time must come when the best of friends must part. Say he was gonna send me a special delivery some old day. I watched that man out the window, carry that trunk out, down to the train station. Said he was gonna send me a special delivery. I wasn't gonna be there to get it. I done found out the harder you try to hold on to these men, the easier it is for some guy to pull them away. That's why I don't trust nobody but the good Lord above, and I don't love nobody but my mama.
Now we will hear from Junior Nikayla Gordon.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nikayla Gordon, and I'll be performing Like Dreaming Backwards by Kelly Powell. I dropped her off that night around a quarter to 2. I should have asked her if anything was wrong or if she wanted to come over, but she seemed fine. Not happy, but still like herself. Normal. I met her freshman year in Introduction to British Literature class, and she made me laugh. She was bitter and cynical, but still she was really nice. And I knew she had depression, but it was still so weird. We had fun, you know? I never really made sense of that. But that night, we saw a play and a midnight movie. And I fell asleep through the last half of it, but only because I had gotten up early that morning to go for a run. And I just keep wondering, was it something in that play or something in that movie, something that triggered her, or something that set her off, something that I could have prevented? I just keep searching for answers and for clues. She had survived so much. Why that night?
Finally, we have Junior Jordan Lawton.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jordan Lawton, and I will be performing the monologue Stand Up by Mr. Joseph Arno. Stand up. You can do it. You have a dream. You have to stop at nothing to make that dream possible. It is alive in you. Anything in this life is possible. There's no such thing as forget it. You want to be an actor, musician, dancer, entrepreneur? Be it, live it, do it. Act on what is in your heart and soul. And don't wait for time to pass and slip through your fingers and live with regret. You have to do it now. Now, not to be religious, but God gives each of us a gift, a talent, a skill, something that we are good at. Whatever you wish to call it, it is your responsibility to stand up and take it, give it, and own it. Don't just sit on it and waste it. Live your life. Take the hard knocks. But if you just move just one little millimeter towards it, you are that much closer. Don't let the world just kick you in the butt. When it pushes you, push back harder. And when you want it, stand up. And by the time you get there, just work even harder. Thank you.
What a wonderful monologues. Next up, we have performing.
Off you go. Those students vary from being in their first year in the class to their second year and even into their third year. And I'm not going to tell you who, because they're all so good. Those were some great students performing some great characters from some amazing playwrights, all whom I believe can and will change the world. Speaking of changing the world, some students from the third period intro class should be coming in right now. Here they come. They wrote a little public service announcement to teach you all a little life lesson. So please clap it up for our first PSA, Respect Our Differences.
Next up, we have performing Josiah Anderson, Jordan Crenshaw, D'Amico Colcroft, Kevin Esther, Reginald Foster III, Rayvon Houston, Amari Myrick, Santry Sterling, and Tiana Thompson.
Okay, everyone, welcome to detention. You already know why you are here. Do not be loud and no leaving the room.
Anime boy.
Yeah, man. Don't worry about her. You know, I may be poor, but at least my GPA higher than both of y'all's put together. And just because I'm poor don't make me any less of a good person.
And I'm tired of everybody talking about how Muslims are weird just because of the way we choose to worship. And contrary to popular belief, we are not all the Taliban.
You guys are boring with your sappy life stories.
Y'all so lame.
You guys are always making fun of someone else's differences.
Why don't you mind your business and go watch some anime show?
Don't nobody want to watch that.
Actually, there's 150 people in our anime club.
Yeah, anime play.
Really?
Hey, whose side are you on?
Just because something is different to you doesn't mean it's not worth giving it a chance.
You two should try keeping an open mind sometimes.
Maybe they'll learn something.
They're right. Our differences is what makes us all unique and interesting.
Right on, teach.
I know that's right.
Amen.
Good
Great. I'm glad we all learned something today. Now back to work. You all still have a detention to serve.
That was an original public service announcement, a little fun for you, and a little life lesson as well. Another great assignment that the students do in both their intro year and advanced years are duo scenes. Each scene is about 5 minutes in length, and it gives the students a chance to develop character, understand spatial relationships on stage, and how to connect to another actor. These scenes vary from dramatic to humorous. Our first scene features two amazing freshmen and a work by the playwright Cheryl L. West. Cheryl L. West is an award-winning African-American playwright whose work has been seen on Broadway, in television, and on film. Please put your hands together for Nia Ware and Treasure Turner.
Hello, my name is Treasure Turner. Today I will be playing as Vinny. And my name is Nia Ware, and I will be playing as Mady in a scene from a play entitled Jar the Floor by Cheryl West.
So I thought all you had to say earlier, you're not giving me the money. You don't care whether I go off to Europe alone. I can sink or swim because it's not your boat. Did I leave anything else out?
Stop it.
Stop what?
You are selfish, arrogant, and spoiled rotten, and I don't like it. I don't like that I had anything to do with making you what you are at this moment. Shoot, if I could do it all over again, I probably wouldn't even bother.
I wish you hadn't. Would have saved us both some trouble, so I could realize how much a bother I was to you.
Oh, please. I never made you feel like that.
Of course not. You're too busy keep Vinny preoccupied and don't realize she even exists.
Oh, so we're playing my favorite game, Poor Deprived Vinny. Must be hard having such a meanie for a mother. A mother who tried to expose you.
You exposed me, all right. You remember Vinny her little activities? You remember going to any of them? Or wait till I got home to tell you about them? Most of all, were you ever home?
I was home when I could be. And who gave you a home?
You, mother.
I didn't want to be gone all the time, but I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, can I go now?
All of this was for you. You kept me going. You kept me working. I wanted you to be proud of me.
I am. I just don't know you.
You can have the money.
I don't want it.
I was just holding on to it for you. I was hoping you'd want to use it for your education. I've been saving that money since you was 5, Vinny. I wasn't saving it for you to just throw away.
So now my career's a throwaway.
That's not what I meant. But going all the way to Europe on a chance, that's just stupid.
I said I don't want the money.
You know how many girls want to be singers? Every black girl in the world wants to be a singer. How many will make it? 1, 2, maybe. And you ain't special enough to be one of them. No, I just won't do it. I wore the same coat for 6 years. Stockings with holes in them. Didn't know what it was to own more than one pair of shoes. I ran from one job to the next.
And ran to the next. As usual as you did. I did have a father, you know.
Father? Only thing your father was good for was disappearing.
Disappearing? You drove him away. Like you drive everyone away.
So what's your excuse?
I want to travel the world and sing. So you want to look at my face ever again.
I didn't mean what I said about your father. He was good to me. He got me out of the house.
I heard all this before, you know.
I didn't want you to make the same mistake.
You made sure of that. No little crunch snatchers around here.
Oh, please, Vinny. You didn't want a child. All you wanted to do was slap me in the face.
I was thinking about that.
I'm trying here. I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue. But you know I didn't want to have a child. But when I found out I was pregnant, I had this inkling of hope that maybe you'd be a girl. Because if I had a daughter, I knew...
Knew what, mother?
I knew I could love you. I knew I would finally have something special.
Then you got me. A paper that didn't fit the cutout.
I knew how much a daughter could love her mother. Sure, I make mistakes along the way. But if I worked hard enough, you'd forgive me for those mistakes and grab hold to a future that I never had. A future I worked like a dog to give you. So no, I didn't want you pregnant at 16, struggling, hating yourself, hating me because I didn't protect you. I wanted...
It's always about you, isn't it?
You are absolutely right. I am your mother. I am entitled. Why else do you think parents put up with the dirt you kids dish out? Because we like it? No, because one day we're hoping you'll wake up and stop treating us like trash. One day, one glorious day, you'll wake up and make every sacrifice we've ever made worth it. So yes, if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for me.
No! I want to sing. Just because you gave up on your dream doesn't mean I give up on mine.
I didn't give up on my dream. My dream was taken from me.
I can always finish school later, you know.
No, baby. 6 years and 3 schools later, you still haven't finished. You don't like the politics. You don't like the campus. You don't like the teachers. So you up and quit. Like you do every job, every apartment. What do you have to show for my $35,200 and something? Nothing. No skills, no graduation, nothing. Your dog-owned dream. Well, if you going to Europe, baby, you going on a wing and a prayer. Because your behind's not getting another dime from me.
They did a lot of that work all on their own. I just gave a little note, and they have some awesome students as well that help coach them, because there's only one of me and there's a lot of them. Our next scene features 2 outstanding freshmen as well, in a scene from Clifford Odets. From as early as 1935 and on, Odet's socially relevant dramas proved extremely influential, particularly commenting on the conditions of the working class during the Great Depression. Please clap it up for Breon Watts and Maya Mutri.
Hello, my name is Maya Mutri, and I'll be playing Edna.
And my name is Breon Watts, and I will be playing Joe.
The scene that we are playing from is called Waiting for Lefty.
By Clifford Odets.
The second month's rent is due tomorrow.
Don't look at me that way, Edna.
I'm not looking at you. I'm looking through you. Everything was going to be done. Roses and Bacardi, a cottage by the waterfall. You're a 4-star bus, and if you think I'm saying...
I'd get another job if I could. There's no work, and you know it.
I only know that we're at the bottom of the ocean.
Well, what can I do?
Who's the man of the family, you or me?
That's no answer. Christ, give me a break. A coffee and the Java all day. I'm hungry too, babe. I work my fingers to the bone.
I'm not God.
Jeez, I wish I was a kid again. I didn't have to think about the next minute.
But you're not a kid again, and you do have to think about the next minute. You got 2 blinded kids sleeping in the next room. They need food and clothes. I'm not mentioning anything else. For 5 years, I laid awake listening to my heart pound. My God, Joe. Maybe go on strike. Papa did it during the war. I'm turning to the sour old nag.
Strikes don't work.
Who told you?
Besides, that means not a nickel while we're out. Then when it's over, they don't take you back.
Suppose they don't. What's to lose?
Well, we're averaging $6, $7 a week now.
That only pays for the rent.
That is something, Edna.
It isn't. They'll push you down to 3 or 4 a week before you know it. Then you'll say that's something too.
There's too many cabs on the street. That's the whole dang trouble.
Let the company worry about that. If their cabs don't make a profit, then they'll take them off the street. Or you think they're there to pay Joe Mitchell's rent.
You don't know ABC, Edna.
I know this. Your boss is making suckers out of you boys every minute. And suckers out of the poor innocent wives and children who grow up with crooked spines and sick bones. But hey, our kids get colds one on top of the other. My God, Joe, the world's supposed to be for all of us.
You'll wake them.
I don't care. As long as I can wake you up.
Don't insult me. One man can't make a strike.
Who says one man? You got hundreds in your riding union.
The union ain't rotten.
No? Then what are they doing? Collecting dues and patting your back?
They're making plans.
What kind?
They don't tell us.
Well, that's too bad about you. What do you think this is, a ping pong game?
You know they're racketeers. The guys at the top will shoot you for a nickel.
Why do you stand for that stuff?
Well, don't you want to see me alive?
No. I don't think I do, Joe. Not if you can't lift a finger to do something about it and don't. No, I don't care.
Honey, you don't understand.
Ain't any other hacky that won't fight.
It's one thing to...
Take your hand away. At least they don't grind me to little pieces. I got different plans.
Now, where are you going?
None of your business.
Tell me.
Tell you what.
Where are you going? If I thought that...
This isn't 5 years ago, Joe.
So you leave me and the kids?
I leave you like a shop.
No.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess I ain't got one leg to stand on then.
No.
No. No, get the heck out of here.
You're crawling like a worm.
You'll be crawling in a minute.
You don't scare me that much.
That's what I slaved for.
Tell it to your boss.
He could care less about you or me.
That's what I say.
Don't change the subject.
This is the subject. The exact subject. Your boss makes this subject. I ain't never seen him in my life, but he's putting ideas in my head a mile a minute. He's making a jellyfish out of you and putting wrinkles in my face. He's giving your kids that fancy disease called the This is the subject every inch of the way. When will you get wise?
I'm not so dumb as you think, but you're talking like a red.
I don't know what that means, but when a man knocks you down, you get up and you kiss his fist. You gutless piece of baloney.
One man can't make a strike.
I don't say one man. I say 100, 1,000, a whole million, I say. But start in your own union. Get those hat boys together, sweep out those racketeers like a pile of dirt, and stand up like men and fight for the crying kids and wives. I'm tired of slavery and sleepless nights.
Sure. Sure.
Yes. Get brass toes on your shoes and know where to kick.
Listen, Edna. I'm going down to 174th Street to look up Lefty Costello.
Get out of here.
Thanks.
See.
What a lovely performance. Next we'll have Sydney Mills and Nashika Neno Nene.
Got one more awesome scene for you. Our final scene is a bit more comedic and features two of our advanced students in a scene from the esteemed playwright Lynn Nottage. Lynn Nottage's work often deals with the lives of women of African descent. Lynn Nottage is an associate professor of theater at Columbia University. Presenting a scene from one of her best-known works, here's Nashika Neno Nene and Sydney Mills.
Hello, I'm Nashika Neno Nene.
And I'm Sydney Mills. And today we'll be performing a play called
Poof.
When I count to 10, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to see you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Curse you, Samuel! I wish you were dead! Samuel? Samuel, I didn't mean it, really. I'll be good if you come back. Samuel. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Florence, could you come downstairs for a minute? There's been an accident. Quickly, please.
Smells like you burnt something. What the devil was that?
It's Samuel, I think.
Okay, what's he done now?
No. It's him. It's him.
Child, did he drive you out your mind? I mean, what's going on?
Down 911, Florence.
Why are you scaring
Down
me?
911.
Why?
I think I killed him.
You did what?
I killed him. I killed Samuel.
Come again? He's dead?
Dead.
Child, I don't got time for this, all right? Y'all can have a little joke or two, but I'm not no part of this. I'm leaving.
Florence.
You did it for real this time?
I don't know how or why it happened. It just did.
Why you whispering?
rather than have a stiff shot of scotch or a glass of champagne.
Yeah. No, this is expensive. It is.
He was...
Take your time.
Standing there.
And?
He exploded.
That fool hit you again?
No. He was yelling at me like he usually does, and then he raised up his big hand and hit me, and poof! I barely got words out, and I'm looking down at a pile of ash.
Okay. I'll give you this in terms of color, all right? You remind me of my husband, Edgar. Yeah, he's the story king. He came home on Sunday. Like, I hit somebody with a chair, and he come to find out he was just playing poker with his paycheck. Nothing more.
Wait.
Nothing less.
You think I'm lying?
I certainly hope so for your sakes and mine.
You know what? Samuel always said that if I raised my voice, something horrible would happen. And it did. I'm a witch. The devil's spawn.
You've been watching too much TV.
I wish I had, then I know what to do. There's no question. A witch.
You've been messing with the mojo women again. Now what I tell you? No? Okay.
Oris, how many times does a man like Samuel get cursed to die and die?
Oh, yeah, you crazy. You crazy.
Do I look like I am? Florence, could you please be helpful for just a second? I'm very close to the edge right now. I don't know what to do. Do I sweep him up? Do I call the police? I'm a killer. I'm a killer.
Now, I wouldn't throw them words around too lightly. Talk like that, it does get around. And, people did time for less, I think.
Thank you. That's very helpful right now.
How you gonna lose your mind this kind of day? I got food upstairs cooking, and Edgar's about to come home anytime, and ain't nothing done. I'm gonna look him in his face with nothing done.
I'm sorry, Florence, really.
Lorraine, you swear on that right foot.
I swear on both of them.
Oh, both them feet, Lorraine. You talk about both them feet. You know what happened if you're lying?
Yeah.
Both them feet.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God, he must have did something so terrible then.
Nothing more than usual. I just couldn't take being hit one more time.
But you took 100 blows from that man. You couldn't just turn the cheek and waited for me to help you pack? Like we talked about.
I'm strangely jubilant.
Oh, my God.
Like on that day when Samuel first said he loved me. That's the feeling.
Is it?
Yeah, like a ton of bricks just been lifted from my shoulders.
I can't stand you.
What?
We made a pact.
I know.
And you just broke it. We promised if things like this get tough for us, we, together. Now, I got to go back upstairs to that, so please tell me what's next.
I thought you'd be able to tell me. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
What you doing?
Look at that. From my wedding. I look good, didn't I? There were some good things. And out of my mouth, those words is all it took. All these years and just words, Florence. That's all they were.
Well, I'm afraid I'll never get to say my words, all right? I'm starting to resent you, honey.
I've been there before.
Edgar hasn't done me like Samuel did you, but he took a better part of my life.
Not yet, Florence.
But I have kids to worry about.
You can think up 100 things before.
Okay, so you come on. You spit them words out when Edgar gets home, and then he's gonna...
No. I can't do that.
You got a broom and a dustpan. You can just sweep him out. Why nobody care he's gone? He was a fool anyway.
People are going to start asking soon, and they'll care, Florence. I should call the police or somebody.
And what you about to tell them? About the time he took out your eye because you changed his TV channel, and the time you stayed with me because you were scared to stay here?
No.
All right.
that's what happens when you stay in speech and drama for a couple of years. Let's give it up one more time for our standout scenes. Before we move forward in our program, I think third period has one more little life lesson for you. So here is our last PSA. Find your voice.
Next up, we have Derek Eason, Farida Adebayo, Gabriella Alicia, Malachi G, Azaria Matthews, Zariah Blackman, Jada Taylor, and Jalen Collins.
Did you guys happen to get the answer for number 3 on your math homework?
I sure did. The answer was 32a squared.
Well, of course.
Yeah, that was easy. All you have to do is use your quadratic formula and your slogan editor to get your final answer.
But of course.
Tired of being pushed around. No, that's only gonna make things worse.
But if we use the power of our voices, they'll have to back down.
If you say so.
Are we done crying? We're tired of being pushed around.
This is
now. We did it.
What an excellent job.
Our drama students learned a lot about different playwrights and the art of storytelling. One of the units in the advanced class is text analysis. This is when we read a play from an accomplished playwright and break down themes, dialogue, story structure, and more for deepened understanding of dramatic literature. This year, we took it a bit further, and the students wrote their very own one-act plays based on themes that they generated, all underneath our overarching theme of changing the world. Tonight, we are going to present 2 staged readings of the best plays from each class. I will start by bringing up the playwrights from our first play, from first period, and let them tell you a little bit about their play. So please put your hands together for Sydney Mills, Nikayla Gordon, and Brianna Moreland.
Hello everyone, my name is Sydney Mills.
And I'm Brianna Moreland.
And I'm Nikayla Gordon. And we are the playwrights of Fists Down, Voices Up, along with Patrick Kai and Reginald Henderson, who could unfortunately not be here tonight.
And our theme of our play was the power of the peaceful protest.
And we draw inspiration from issues in society such as police brutality.
Today you will see a group of teenagers face tough situations and learn that the power of their voice is way more effective than any weapon.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Fists down, voices up.
Fists Down, Voices Up by Brianna Moreland, Reginald Henderson, Nikayla Gordon, Sydney Mills, and Patrick Kai. Setting. This play takes place in downtown and on the south side of Chicago in 2018. Characters. Jordy, 16 years old, sweet and innocent, state champ track runner. He has a bright future ahead of him. Cassie, Jordy's older sister, 18, fiercely protective, a leader who wants to make change in the world. Ruby, 17 years old, a firecracker and Cassie's best friend. Evan, 18 years old. Cassie's friend who wants desperately to impress her. Violet, 17 years old, the naive one of the group. Police Officer Bill, thinks he runs the city, violent and arrogant. Police Officer Bob, Bill's equally power-hungry partner. Xavier, African-American male in his 20s, hasn't been mentally stable since his younger brother who was brutally killed by a police officer. Matthew, Xavier's friend who encourages him to do irrational things in the heat of the moment. Mrs. Johnson, Cassie and Jordy's mother, middle 40s, African-American, Mr. Johnson's wife. Mr. Johnson, Cassie and Jordy's father, Mrs. Johnson's husband, African-American in middle 40s. Reporter 1 and 2, African-American, early 30s, energetic. Scene 1, Ruby, Violet, Evan, Jordy, and Cassie are all hanging out in the neighborhood, playing the dozens and enjoying each other.
You think you funny?
Your mama teeth so yellow that when she drink water, it tastes like lemonade.
Okay. Well, your mama's so ugly, she tried to join the ugly contest. They said, sorry, no professionals.
I got one. Both of your mamas is so fat, when they stepped on the scale, said, I need your weight, not your phone number.
He talking about my mama?
Yeah. None of y'all can talk, though. Do your parents even realize they're living proof that two wrongs don't make a right?
All of y'all belong in the side soul circus anyway, so y'all can't even talk about nobody.
Y'all need to cut it out and act like y'all got some sense. We're about to graduate and go off to college, and we need to act like it. You guys could be so immature.
Cassie, you're right, but why you gotta be such a downer? Hey, y'all wanna go with me to go get my new shoes for my track meet? This is really important. I heard a scout is gonna be there.
I want to go to a track meet, but where's it at?
Oh, it's at Southland College Prep. I heard they have a really good team.
Yeah, I heard something like that.
Jordy, you know you're going to get the scholarship. You're the fastest one on the team, new shoes or not.
Well, thanks, Ruby. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna make sure I'm in tip-top shape before my meet to make sure of that.
Xavier enters as the kids begin to walk. He bumps into Jordan. Xavier is clearly irritated.
Oh, what's up, Xavier? My bad. I didn't mean to bump into you.
Watch where you're going before we have a problem.
I said I was sorry.
Man, sorry ain't gonna cut it.
Is there a problem, Xavier?
Man, just tell your brother to watch where he's going.
Xavier walks off, and the kids keep walking, but Jordy seems disturbed.
What's wrong, Jordy?
Nothing. I just don't understand what his problem is.
Jordy, don't worry about that. You know he hasn't been mentally stable ever since his brother was killed by that police officer last year.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Yeah, it's like he's had a chip on his shoulder ever since.
There's a heavy silence among them.
Okay, enough of all this depressing stuff. I need to get back focused on my future.
They all look confused.
The track meet, duh. It's pretty obvious I'm the better runner of the group.
If you were so good, then why didn't you get a track scholarship?
That's cold, Jordy.
Whatever, dude. I just know I'm a better runner than you.
Well, if you're such a good runner, why don't you race me to prove it?
Yeah, race.
Really, y'all? Just when I tell you to at your age, you want to, let's race.
I'm not going to race you to prove my point.
Do it, do it, do it.
Fine, I'll race y'all on him just so y'all can shut up.
All right, let's go.
On your mark, get set, go.
Evan and Jordy start racing. And everyone chases after them to see the race. Jordy accidentally runs into Police Officer Bill and Bob.
Hey, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to run into you.
What are you doing, boy? Why are you running? You stealing?
No, sir. I was just racing.
Don't lie to us, boy.
Police Officer Bob starts handcuffing Jordy.
Why are you arresting me? I didn't do anything.
Stop resisting.
Evan turns around, smiling about his victory before realizing what's happened.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
Hey, man, I'm just trying to...
Hold on.
Stop talking back to me, boy.
Whips a baton and hits Jordy twice.
Ah! Oh, my leg.
Jordy grabs his leg in pain, screaming in agony.
Oh,
By now, all of the other kids have caught up. It is chaos. Cassie is screaming at the officer. Violet is kneeling next to Jordy, trying to soothe him. Evan is holding his head in disbelief. Ruby is trying to jump in to help Jordy get free of the officer.
You are being arrested for the assault of a police officer. Resisting arrest.
He needs to go to the hospital.
They have medical aid at the county jail.
The police drag Jordy away as the group watches in horror. Scene 2. The kids are back at Cassie's home trying to figure out what to do about Jordy being arrested. Cassie's mother and father enter the basement to talk to the kids.
Can you believe what just happened?
Cassie, everything will be fine. I know you all are very upset right now, but I am too, but you guys just have to calm down.
Let the adults handle it.
Handle it? Do what?
Please let us help.
You guys stop. If she said they have it under control, they have it under control. Let's just go study for our math test tomorrow or something. That's right, Cassie. I'm really sorry you all had to see your friend getting brutalized like that. He's my son, and I can only imagine how you felt seeing that. But trust me, we're not going to let it slide.
We're getting ready to go to the station now.
They exit.
Cassie, what was that?
Yeah, you don't think we should get justice for Jordan?
He's your brother.
Cassie peers around the corner to make sure her mom isn't within earshot.
You guys didn't actually believe me, did you? I was only doing that for my parents. I know that if we would try to convince them, they would let us take action. It will only make them watch us even closer so that we can't free Jordan.
You're a genius, Cass.
I wouldn't say all that now, but she is onto something. What do you think we should do, Cassie?
Clearly, we need to gather a group of people and go protest what happened to Jordy. We can't just sit around and wait for the adults to handle it. We need justice for Jordy.
Cassie, now you know we can't do that. Our parents would ground us for life if we ever did that.
Ruby's right, guys. We would get in so much trouble.
What's more important, getting in trouble for standing up for basic human rights or sitting on the sidelines while Jordy sits in a jail cell for doing nothing? Lord knows what's happening to him right now.
Cassie, don't think like that. I'm sure Jordy's fine. I'm pretty sure your parents are taking good care of it.
Yeah, Cassie, don't worry about it. Let's just study for our test tomorrow.
Yeah, Ruby's right, Cassie. Let's just study for our test.
No, I'm not studying for any tests. What is wrong with you guys? How can you just sit back and do nothing while my little brother, your friend, is sitting in a jail cell?
Cassie, that's not what we want, but what can we do? We're just kids.
That's just it, guys. We may just be only just kids, but we have a voice nonetheless. I'm with Cassie. We should get out there and protest. Let's just not sit around and do nothing.
You just saying that because you like her.
Oh, no, I'm not. Honestly, I think we need to do something here.
It's not important whether he likes me or not. At least he's not scared to stand up for what he believes in.
I'm not scared.
I'm scared. It could be dangerous. And Cass, I know my name is Violet, and people might get that confused with violent, but I ain't never been in a fight in my life.
Whoever said anything about violence? We can protest peacefully. It's our constitutional right.
Okay, you know what? How do we even get started with this whole protest thing?
So are you going to protest with us?
Yeah, what could go wrong?
What about you, Violet?
I mean, I guess.
Great. Okay, so first we need to gather people in the community and get them on board. Then we need to make posters with the slogan so that the officers get the message. And most importantly, we must stand our ground but not get violent.
Consider the community on board. I just sent out a tweet and it's already trending.
Great, guys. Let's do this. For Jordy.
For Jordy.
Scene 3. Outside of the police station stand all of the teens. Cassie, Ruby, and Evan, as well as Jordy's friends and other people from his school and community. There are lots of people. They hold signs and megaphones. Cassie is at the head.
No justice, no peace, no crooked police.
No justice, no peace, no crooked police.
They continue to chant this one more time as Cassie gets on the megaphone to address the crowd.
Jordy wasn't doing anything wrong. He was racing with his friend and bumped into a cop. Does that really call for a baton to the knee? It is sick how these police continue to beat and kill our people, and we are sick of it. We all plan to stand here in solidarity until you release him. No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
Xavier, with Matthew in tow, pops up within the crowd with his own megaphone.
I'll hurt the police. You want to beat us down for no reason? Come on, try us next. Come on, I want you to try it.
The police surrounding the station exchange glances with each other. They are worried.
You heard him?
Wait, what are y'all doing?
Stand down.
I'm getting justice for Jordan.
He approaches the officers.
I repeat, stand down.
No, it's about time that we stand up. Stand up for ourselves and stand up for our friends. If I'm tired of not being heard, and since you can't seem to hear my words, maybe you'll hear this.
He reaches into his pocket. Cassie looks around and realizes this is going very, very wrong. Just as Xavier closes the space between him and the officer, one of the officers drops tear gas. The crowd is in chaos. Violet is coughing violently. Evan is trying to help Xavier get back, who is the closest to the gas, and people are running and screaming. Some are getting arrested. Through all the commotion, Cassie tries to break up her friends.
Everyone, this is not the answer. Stop.
Cassie is accidentally shoved and falls.
Cass, come on, we gotta get out of here. It's too dangerous.
Riley, Ruby, come on.
They all run off stage as chaos ensues. Scene 4. Everyone is back at Cassie's home in the basement. The kids are all over the place. Cassie is sitting down on the couch with her head in her hands. Evan is sitting next to Cassie, trying to comfort her. Ruby is pacing back and forth, worried. And Violet is sitting in the corner, crying.
Well, that went well.
It's okay, Cass. It could have been worse.
Doesn't seem like it. It's okay, Molly.
I just don't understand why Xavier and his crew just had to come and mess it up. I mean, I know they're friends with Jordy, but what they pulled wasn't helpful at all.
Helpful? It nearly got them killed. We told you kids to let the adults handle it. You could have gotten seriously hurt. I'm sorry, Mom. We were just so upset about Jordy. And I understand that. I really do. But you have to learn to use your voice the right way.
There's a knock at the door. Cassie's mom opens it, and Xavier and Matthew stand in the doorway. There's an uncomfortable silence.
Hi, Miss Johnson. Can we talk to Cassie?
If that's okay with her. Yeah, that's fine, Mom. Okay, well, let me know if you need anything. Cassie, your father is at the station now with your brother. Try to work things out to get him released. Everything is going to be fine. What do you want, Xavier?
Yeah, you two ruined everything.
You made us look like criminals.
Well, maybe we can work together. We didn't expect to get out of control.
Oh, come on, Matthew. That's exactly what we wanted. The police don't seem to hear us any other way. We just didn't expect them to gas us.
Well, what did you all expect? You know that violent protests only result in more violence, right?
I just couldn't stand not doing anything anymore. First my brother, and then Jordy. It made me so angry, I had to do something. I had to.
But Xavier, there's a way to do something without putting others' lives in danger, without putting your life in danger. It's called peaceful protest.
Xavier is silent.
Yeah, but when has peaceful protest even ever worked? People go out, stomp in the streets, put up a few signs, and the same things happen over and over again. The system never gets the message.
The March on Selma, the Montgomery bus boycott, the March on Washington, Fists in the Air, March for Our Lives. All those and more were peaceful protests. And they got their messages across. And so can we.
Where did that come from, Violet?
She knows her history, and she's absolutely right. If the police get to use the power of force, then we can use the power of our voice.
And how could we do that?
Well, it won't be an easy thing to do, but before we start planning, we have to know everyone who's on board for peacefully getting justice for Jordan.
I'm in.
Me too.
Same here.
Count me in.
I'll do it. For Jordy and for my brother.
Scene 5. On one side of the stage, Cassie's mom is sitting in the living room, watching the peaceful protest on the news. On the other half of the stage, Cassie is standing in front of an audience with a megaphone, chanting as the audience responds with the same chant.
I'm here live in front of a police precinct number 45. A peaceful rally has been organized by an amazing group of students. Jordy Smith was recently brutalized at the hands of officers from the station, and the community is demanding justice.
Oh my God! These protests just won't stop. But thank God this is a peaceful one. This is a peaceful protest. Under no circumstance will this be a violent protest. We are here to protest unnecessary police brutality in our community.
No justice, no peace, no crooked police.
Oh my good Lord, that's Cassie and the kids. We want justice for my brother Jordan.
Yeah.
Mrs. Johnson stares in amazement.
My Lord, I need to get down there.
Over the TV, Cassie begins to speak to a news reporter. Mrs. Johnson begins to grab her coat when she stops and sees Cassie on the screen talking to a reporter. She grabs her coat and sits back down in amazement.
I'm here with Cassie Johnson, who has put together this amazing rally. Cassie, why did you put this protest together?
A few days ago, my brother Jordy was beaten and arrested for accidentally bumping into a police officer. The officer became very violent for no reason. This happens far too often in the African American community. Things like this shouldn't happen to kids.
I agree, Cassie. Thank you. I see you brought some friends with you. Hi there, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Violet.
We spoke to your friend Cassie Johnson about why you guys are out here and how much it meant to her. What does this protest mean to you?
This protest means a lot to me because it means so much for me to be able to be part of an experience like this. We organized this protest today to highlight all of the inequality in the justice system. For years, African Americans have suffered at the hands of the police in our communities who feel that their job is not to protect us, but to harm us. We see it on the news all of the time. For example, Trayvon Martin was killed walking home from the corner store just for looking suspicious. Alton Sterling was killed by police for selling CDs outside of a store. The list goes on, and if we don't do something about it, then nothing will ever change. We organized this rally because our friend was brutalized by a police officer. He didn't do anything wrong and deserves justice.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. I'm Felicity Smith, reporting for HBC News.
Mrs. Johnson sits there in amazement and decides not to go down to the protest. On the other side of the stage, Jordy appears walking out of the police station with his father, Mr. Johnson. Everyone begins screaming for joy when they see Jordy walking out of the police station.
Jordy! Cassie, what are you doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing here? Are you causing trouble? Are all your friends here? And do their parents know they're here?
We're peacefully protesting because of what happened to Jordy. We're not causing any trouble.
Well, your brother's safe. They let him go and fired the officers. Turns out they didn't have any proof. Jordy did nothing wrong, not to mention they were getting a lot of bad press. Thanks to you guys. I'm proud of you kids.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Now let's go home. I still got to get that track scholarship and my track meet on Saturday.
Are you sure you're going to be able to handle all of that?
As long as I have my big sis and my friends by my side, I can do anything.
It's good to have you back, Jordy.
Let's get you kids home.
They exit, feeling a little taller. End of play.
Now nearing the end of the show, we have performing Ryan Miller, Daniel Love Jordan, Elijah Thompson, Ashley Meeky, Nyela Garza, Ryan Owens, Kayla Western, Kobe Hopkins, Kenjai Riley, Marquand Wright, and Ariel Anderson.
Put your hands together as they come forward. And I would like to introduce the playwright for this play, Grant Wade, Lanier Moore, Brandon Rosson, Jalen Barnes, and Brielle Robinson.
Okay, so inspiration from this play came from the class system, upper class, middle class, lower class. I'm sure y'all know about it. It's from Marxism, basically.
Then we pretty much just wanted to implement it into a fictional story.
It's centered around a character. His name is Herbert Wright, and he's a little too smart to be in the lowest class.
The story is pretty much placed in a future, some 50-50.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the
Magnum effect.
The Magnum Effect by Brielle Robinson, Lanier Moore, Grant Wade, Brandon Rosson, and Jalen Barnes. Here are our characters. Claus Magnimo, an evil genius. He has an unknown face to the regular population. He was abused and demented and wanted his parents to suffer and anyone like them. So he put everyone inside of centurions. He is also invincible. Mrs. Magnimo, an evil, decrepit old lady with a raspy voice and is always wearing a nasty scowl. She's the mother of Claus. Mr. Magnimo, he's very stern and has a huge ego and a booming voice. He's the father of Claus. Herbert, our hero. Everyone calls him Herb. He doesn't have a lot of money, but was blessed with charm and knowledge. He's a genius. He's from the Atolius Centurion. Hannah, Herbert's best friend and biggest cheerleader. She's from the Doubtless Centurion. Clarence, Mr. Magnimo's right-hand man. He's hot-headed and super sloppy, and you can hear it in his voice. He has famous parents. He is from the Alidite Centurion. The secretary, she has a nasally voice, but we never see her. The teacher, from the Doubtless Centurion. She's slender, tall, and middle-aged. Mags 1 and 2, Mr. Magnimo's beefy guards. The story begins in the year 2069. The world wasn't much different than you know. Everyone knows that with knowledge, there is power, and with power, there comes money. That's what Claus Magnimo's parents whipped into him every day. Constant abuse was his morning breakfast. When he was 17, his father threw acid at Magnemo's face because young Magnemo looked a lot like his grandfather. The parents were insecure about being poor, and they took it out on Magnemo every single day. Magnemo grew up to be an inventor and won many accolades. This poured investments into his company. Little did they know, he had plans on world domination. He sold his weapons overseas and built a monopoly of armed forces, which he used to enforce in centurions, or class systems. The Alidite, the elite of the world, are top tier. The doubtless are the middle and average performing of the population, and the Aetolius is the poor and less fortunate. He became the most powerful man in the world and became invincible by means unknown. Our story takes place 3,000 years in the future. Scene 1, meet Claus Magnemo. Spotlight, a memory. Young Magnemo at table doing homework, with his father yelling at Magnemo.
You are worthless.
This was some of his best work, Claus thought. The mother striking Claus with a stick every time he made a wrong move.
You are a disappointment to us all.
Claus sits there stoic, emotionless, and numb. This memory fades on Claus and snaps back into reality. Lights up on the set, the top floor of Magnemo's company. The secretary's voice fades in on speaker.
Mr. Magnemo, are you there?
Yes, yes. What do you need?
Clarence is on line 1. He seems unhappy.
All right, let him through. I'm picking it up now.
Hello? Hello? Claus, we have a problem. It's the internship system. You won't believe who tested the highest.
I'm sure it's not
An Aetolius! With a perfect score! It's unprecedented!
That's impossible. Who is this low-class person? How could this have happened?
This ingrate. Herbert Wright snuck into a doubtless school. We found a weak link in one of the teachers, and they let him take the test.
Well, fine. Erase him. Erase his mark and his history. This never happened.
That's the thing, Magnemo. It's all over the press. The teacher blasted it all over the internet. It's everywhere. Turn on the TV.
He does. Magnemo drops his phone and looks outside to a huge crowd chanting,
"Let him in! Let him in! Let him in!"
He must be stopped.
Fade to black. End of scene. Scene 2. Herbert breaks the system. At the Dallas Centurion School that Herbert and Hannah attend, the school bell rings and children spill out of school, and Herbert and Hannah come center stage. Herbert takes the test results and hands it to Hannah. He's afraid to look, and Hannah's face goes pale.
What's wrong?
He snatches the test from Hannah.
Herbert, how did you get a perfect score? This test is going to put you in with the Aladites, with all the famous people and all the super smart people.
What does this mean? Whoa, this is so crazy.
It means you're going to be famous, Herb. You'll get everything you want if this goes right. Oh my gosh, wow, a perfect score? My best friend is a genius.
Shh, don't say that too loudly. People will hear you.
The teacher comes running out of school frantically as sirens are heard.
Don't you guys hear the sirens? Everyone, be quiet and stand up straight. Our ruler's coming down the street. Pay attention and do as you're told so no one gets erased.
The students stand up straight and are silent. A man on the siren begins to speak into a speaker and announces, "Mr. Magnemo is traveling through." A police escort comes through finally. Guards called Mags come out first, and Mr. Magnemo comes out next. They all walk in sync. The children are in perfect rows waiting for instruction, with the teacher in front.
Hello, Your Highness. What do we owe the pleasure of your presence?
The Mags slide in unison out of the way. Magnemo proceeds forward.
Are you the teacher of Herbert Wright?
Yes.
Interesting.
He turns around and pulls out the eraser and puts it into the air, and screams erupt.
Oh my God!
Please! No, I didn't know. Please don't erase me, please.
The Mags take the teacher and throw her into a huge truck labeled The Erased. The truck speeds away.
Now, which one of you is is the Atolius who had the audacity to sneak into this doubtless establishment and disgrace my test.
It was me, but I didn't sneak in anywhere. I honestly passed on my own merit.
Uh-huh. So, I guess this means that we'll have to go on a ride, kid. So, come on, so we can settle this.
Herbert gets in the vehicle, and then it speeds off.
I'm rooting for you, best friend.
End of scene. Scene 3, the interview. Herbert is in a room alone, waiting for people to tell him what's going on with his life. He feels helpless. The two mags walk in.
Right now, you're a threat. As a mag, my main job is to erase the threats. Mr. Magnum will decide your fate.
But he takes out an eraser.
If it was up to me, I'll erase you myself, you Atolius ingrate.
Herbert doesn't dare move or show a glimpse of disrespect. The mags exit. A moment passes, and Mr. Magnimo enters.
Hello, mister.
Don't speak to me before I, your superior, tells you to speak.
Herbert shrinks.
What is the derivative?
The derivative is the main function of differential calculus. Specifically, a derivative is a function.
What is the newest law in engineering?
Written contract requirements for professional geologists and professional geophysicists effective 50/50.
Astonishing.
What?
Nothing. Tomorrow, a car will come to you and your home at 0600 hours. Pack all your valuables. You will now eat, sleep, and breathe the company.
Yes, sir.
Magnimo leaves. The mags come in and escort Herbert out.
Let's go. Come on. Sit down.
End of scene. Scene 4, the deal. Inside of Herbert's new office, inside the company. Magnimo enters with a huge stack of paperwork and slams it on Herbert's desk.
On each of these blueprints is an invention that I need built by the end of the week.
Herbert flips through the blueprints with boredom.
An anti-phobia machine, an anti-tanning machine. I built prototypes of these already. Do you have anything more challenging?
Magnimo huffs.
Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll make you a proposition.
Herbert, intrigued, sits up straight in his chair.
I'm listening, Mr. Mag. You mind if I call you Mr. Mag?
Don't ever call me that again, or you will get erased.
Alrighty then, sir.
Magnimo fumes.
So about this proposition.
Build a photon generator within an hour, and I will move your parents to the Alodite Centurion and whomever else you request.
So when do I start?
I would start now, if I were you.
He exits. Herbert throws stuff off of the desk and gets to work. A huge clock comes on the wall, begins at an hour. Herbert begins fidgeting and throwing stuff together. Music is heard in the background as well as cranking sounds. Time passes, and there is 5 minutes left when Herbert finally finishes.
Mr. Magnimo? Mr. Magnimo? Come review this.
Magnimo enters.
To make a photon generator, it takes a full day at the least. That being said, there's no way this is functional.
Just review it.
The machine comes on, sputters, starts up, and runs successfully.
That is just impossible. You cheated just like you did on the test. You little ingrates.
My parents, my little sister, my best friend Hannah, and her family. And don't you ever call me an ingrate again.
You really thought that I was going to help scum like you. You people make me sick. You dream of something of which you can't have. Follow the system. Know your role. Ingrates and stay in it.
I quit. The people won't stand for this. They see hope in me. I'll be back, and when I return, you have the choice to be on the side of change or stay stuck in your primitive ways.
Right. We'll see about that.
We certainly will.
End of scene. Scene 5, the revolution. Herbert and Hannah have incited revolution among the people to take back their freedom. A huge crowd is currently tearing Magnemo's headquarters apart.
Best friend, you have really done it. Passing the test was one thing, but starting a revolution for our freedom is quite another.
Magnemo has been ruling us with fear for too long. It's time to take the world back and make things right.
We're with you until the end.
Thank you, Hannah. Can you handle things down here?
Of course. Where are you going?
I'm going to see Mr. Magnemo.
Okay. Herbert?
Yeah?
Watch your back.
Herbert heads upstairs and sees Mr. Magnemo sitting in a chair.
So, we meet again?
It's you. Welcome back.
I don't want this to end like this. I want it to end peacefully.
Over my dead body.
Herbert pulls out a walkie-talkie.
It's time.
The mags come in and arrest Mr. Magnemo.
Go, man. Wait! You two belong to me. What is this? How could this happen?
Freedom is too precious, Mr. Mag. It's over now. The world belongs to the people now.
The mags drag Magnemo away. He screams on his way out.
This isn't the last you'll hear from me. This is still my world. I am still in charge.
Herbert grabs a broadcaster and walks out onto a balcony.
For too long, we stood by idle, being products of our environment, while being oppressed by the system of a madman. It begins here, in the city of Magnum. We've won this battle, but the war has just begun. My name is Herbert Wright, an Atolius. I broke the system. Break the system where you are, standing for your right of the pursuit of happiness and freedom.
The crowd rejoices. End of play.
All right, give it up for our actors. There you go. All right, we have ended. We've come to the end of our program, and to finish our night, though, we have a very special treat for you. One of the first skills every stage actor must learn is the art of improvisation. Improvisation, or improv, as it is called, is acting off the top of your head. So that means with no scripts. This is an important skill to learn because theater is live, and the stage actor must be ready for anything. Some actors go even further than this and make improvisation an art in sport. So who has ever been to the Second City or heard of the Second City? Anybody? Wonderful. What about Saturday Night Live? Okay. So a little, unknown fact. The Second City is a training ground for comedy actors, particularly in improvisation, and a lot of the SNL actors actually train at Second City first, which was started right here in Chicago. What about who's ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway? Beautiful, then you know exactly what we're getting ready to do. So I've got some amazing students that have been improving masters at it since they were freshmen, and I'm so excited to finally be able to have them do that in front of you. They're going to do some live improv for you to end our night. So please welcome Grant Wade, Jalen Barnes, Isaiah Lewis, Ryan Owens, Brandon Rawson, Lanier Moore, and Darius Flowers. And I'm going to be your Aisha Tyler / Drew Carey. So we're going to play a couple of games, and of course I'll need your help for us to play these games. So the first game is the question game. It's for Grant, Isaiah, Ryan, and Darius. As you can see, these four gentlemen have put themselves on two teams, and what they're going to do is act out a scene for you, and they have to speak all in questions. We know questions begin with who, what, when, where, why, how, is, isn't, and so on and so forth. If one of them does not say a question, they'll hear this. That means they go to the end of the line and their partner steps in. So what we need from you, because this is live improv, we need a setting. So where are they? They're at the beach. Wonderful. Sounds great. We need a problem to solve. What is the problem at the beach? There is a horrible sandstorm. I like that. So, gentlemen, we are at the beach. There's a horrible sandstorm, and we must speak all in questions. Take it away.
Whoa, bro! What's going on?
Can you see out here?
Are you okay? Can you breathe?
Can you feel your arms? The sand is hit too hard.
What is that?
Are you okay?
Can you take me somewhere safe?
There ain't nowhere to go. It's a beach.
That's not a question. Darius, step in there. Sandstorm. Nice job, Ryan.
Bro, where you at? Where you at? What? Why can't I see you?
What is a question?
Oh, what is wrong? What is that? What is what? Oh. Why can't I feel my body? Are you okay? Why can't I see you again?
Isaiah, jump in there. Same scenario. All questions, go.
Hey man, you got some glasses? Where all the sand go? What you mean where all the sand go? Darius, where are you? Is it the sand? Isn't it in your eyes?
How did we get here in this sandy place?
Why did you talk like that?
All right, give it up for these four for the question game. Can only imagine what 7th period is like when we improv. Our next game is the ABC game. It's for Brandon, Lanier, and Jalen. And our ABC game, we are going to do a scene, and we'll get a suggestion from you here in just a second. These gentlemen are going to do a scene all together, all 3 of them, and they must speak in alphabetical order. What that means is that the first word of every line must be in alphabetical order. I will ding them if they go out of order, and they will fix it and keep the scene going. But their goal is to go from A to Z. So, where are we? We are at a daycare. Oh, Lord help us, it's these 3. And what is the problem at the daycare? What'd you say? We're going to take this wonderful young man's suggestion. We're at the daycare, and all of the babies are crying. ABCs, go.
Baby. Calm down. What's wrong? Calm down. Dude. You can't talk to a baby like that. Excuse me. Frederick, stop. Give us some food. Here. I don't know why I signed up to work here. Just calm your son down. I don't know. My baby down. You knocked my baby down. Get up. Let me get him up.
We're on M, gentlemen, M.
Obviously, we have to breastfeed him. Please, I know, woman. No. Question: how do we breastfeed? Are you really?
Safety first. S.
Take a deep breath. Usually, babies like to go to sleep. Very well then. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Well, you might be dead. Xavier! You still there? Zebras!
And C. Lord help me. Our last game is for all of them. We're going to start with, who are we starting with again? Barnes and Lanier? Yeah, we're going to start with Barnes and Lanier. It's a little game called Freeze, and so you'll give us the first scenario, and then they will jump in with some new ones. So Freeze is a game where they start a scene, and their object is to morph themselves into different physical positions, and they'll hear one of these gentlemen on the sides yell, freeze. They'll hold that position that they're in. One actor will come in, tap out one actor. That actor goes away. The new actor will take on that body position and start a brand new scene based on that body position. If that did not make sense, it will make sense here in a second. So where are we? Hospital. What's wrong at the hospital? There's no medicine at the hospital. Freeze. Action.
According to my records, we should have some ibuprofen, painkiller. Wait. Where's my medicine? Where's my...
Excuse me, Doc. Freeze. This way. Goggles on. Ready? Set. Go.
Hey, stay still. Quiet. It's looking dead at you. You gotta move with the snake. Move with, that's how you do it. Wait. Now, we'll move up slow.
All right.
Come on.
I got your back now.
Come on.
Don't worry.
Oh my gosh, that's bigger than I thought it was. Freeze!
Let's hold his hand.
Jimmy? Yes. Don't move. It's an animal coming behind us. Take a glance. I don't want to look. Take a glance! It's okay. Don't put me in front of me. You go. You're the master. Go ahead. Do your ninjutsu or some of that. Watch out. Watch for the teeth. Oh, where you go? Freeze.
And scene. Let's give these guys a round of applause. It's amazing. I can't even improv like that. All I do is teach them the rules, and that's what you get. I do want to just recognize some of our student directors. They did an awesome job coaching students, being there when I couldn't be there. If you are around, if you come to the stage, Taysha Adetunji, Charlie Gover, Patrick High, Lauren Jenkins, Salem Smart, Tamara Payne, Lillian Wyatt, Tiana Thompson, Jace Rowell, Kayla Fincher, Kayla Vaughn, Kayla Fletcher, and Julianne Atwood. Take a bow, guys. My eyes and ears. Take a bow. I have to recognize them because I'm so grateful as my mobility has been limited here lately. They have been a wonderful, wonderful help. This show would not be what it is without you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And that's it, everybody. Thanks so much for coming out. Enjoy your evening.
Wow, Jaden, that was an amazing showcase. Performed by Miss Rose's Intro to Drama and Advanced Theater classes.
Yes, it was. And now I can't wait to see the showcase of 2019. So join us next year live from SCP TV. I'm your host, Jaden Posley.
And I'm Janelle Alexander.
Thanks for joining us.
We're live here from Richmond Park. Good night.